Welcome back. Took last Sunday off, first Sunday off I've had in a long time. Just putting down the sunlights are here. It's the first Sunday off I've had in a long time on YouTube. Well, partly the fact that my aunt passed away middle of the week, unfortunately, and I just wasn't up to putting up a video. You can kind of understand that. But the work continues, that doesn't stop. We've had a really busy week gone by. Well, I suppose it's been nearly 2 weeks since I was talking to you, so we've had a really busy 2 weeks. I'm just on my way over here now to put in a bale for the cattle. I don't use the bale splitter anymore. Don't really need to use it anymore. The front loader is so handy for laying out a bale in front. I just don't bother putting it on. I keep the weight on the back. The bale splitter is perfect for at home because we can split it and it falls perfectly on both sides in our double slatted house. But for this here, just laying it out in front of these cattle, one bale every couple of days works great. So this is the little setup that I have for feeding our male. It actually works really well, and it's so simple. But this little chute that I have on the side, this was always kind of my idea. Something that's very simple to fit on any bin. So if you're ordering one, keep in mind, it's something that is very handy. I'm going to make a little bit of a modification to this one to make it even better. But the way it is now at the minute, it's working really well. So I do let me tipsy bin back just as it's underneath the chute. I fill it about half full. The reason I fill it about half full is because I need to pull it out from underneath the chute to get the lid on. Now that's where I need to make the modification. I could of course put on the forks and lift it and pull it back a little bit, but that means you have to put on the forks, and that's another little bit of work. To escape that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open these two nuts here. I'm going to raise this, tilt it up further, and I'm going to put another small piece onto this about 1.5 feet long, drill 2 holes here and just sit it in behind it, and then all I have to do is fold it up when I'm not using it. I have some of this sheeting at home that was left over for doing the bottom of doors and slatted houses. So it's only a matter of folding the exact same thing that's on this here. Not cost me a penny. As long as I make it a little bit bigger. So when I fold it up here, it will fold over this here, and the whole thing will fold up basically. And that means that I don't have to move the bin at all. So that's a little modification I'm going to make. But I have to say one thing. Doing it this way, there's no spillage whatsoever. And it means you just dip your bucket in, feed your cattle there right beside you. And it's so easy with zero mess. Right, that's I'm happy. They're a little bit hungry now this morning because their bale ran out last night, so we had to put a bale in for them now. But they've grown an awful lot. I don't know if the camera shows it up. Bo is definitely the biggest calf, and number 931 would definitely be the 2 biggest calves here. The smaller ones, if you remember them from the video where we're doing our clipping, they've done really well also. And there's the smallest calf there, and by means no small calf when you're in the shed with it, but it has done really well. The only problem with that calf is it doesn't lay up on the cubicles, and I hate to see that. I'm hoping That'll change in that because we're going to have to end up tying it up in the cubicles when it comes home, when it gets a little older, just to get it into the habit of laying up. But the rest of them all lay up. They're lovely and clean now as well. The clipping just changes them inside out. It's definitely a job worth doing. Now, you can have a look at the countryside down there. There's a river down there, but you can see a lot of the water starting to move off now. But that was mostly underwater yesterday. So yeah, we've had a lot of rain. A lot of wind as well, and the wind did cause us, well, it almost caused us a very big problem. Our calving pen, the back wall on our calving pen, I'll show you before this video is out, decided it was going to fall. I'd just seen it on time and I got the loader of the tractor up against it. I'm going to have to brace it now and sort it out the next few days, few weeks. We just have to keep an eye on anytime there's wind now. We'll have to prop it with the tractor on just to keep it safe for now. But yeah, it was really wild here on Sunday night, I think it was. Definitely out of the 3 storms we got in the past week, yes, 3 named storms in the past week, which is very, very unusual. That one was definitely the strongest that hit us. Just nearly forgot there, I actually have a bucket on this. I'll have to take off with the leak. Wouldn't be a good job to put on the bale and do that.
We're in the calving pen here now. If you look at this wall here, you see these blocks at the top that have separated? Well, that anchor there that's coming down, that's helping to support that from blowing in, just holding the sheets on the side, that is supported at the top of them blocks, and you can see the way it broke free. So it actually was a good thing that it broke free, because it allowed the blocks to move in and out. Because of the pressure of this sheeting then pushing in and out all the time with the real bad wind that we had, this wall here started to move ever so slightly. But we do need to brace this wall, and to brace the wall now, My idea is to put a steel girder, or SJ, whatever you want to call it, one of those here, right up to the top of that beam, and then bring a brace from that the whole way across to that beam there. And that way it'll push that wall out. It'll also go up high enough that they can take the strain off that there. Rather than it being fixed at all to the top of that wall, it'll then be fixed to that girder, and that'll all be supported, braced basically back and forth. And I could do the same over here if it need to be, just to brace the whole thing up, and that will give it a lot of strength, because that there, that is a big span of sheeting, and the southerly winds we get from over there hits that head on and pushes it in, so it was under a lot of pressure. But thankfully for the front loader, was able to prop up against it and stop that from happening. We should be all right now. We just have to brace it, fix it properly, and make sure that it doesn't move again. And it's the following day, and the following day has brought a nice little skittering of snow. Was a surprise this morning to wake up to, because I was up last night about 3 o'clock and just checking on actually a cow out in the calf, and she didn't calve, but it was snowing quite heavy then, so it must have snowed rightly through the night. But it's starting to thaw away, much to Nicole's delight. Are you glad to see the snow going, Nicole? No. No, she's glad to see it go. What we're going to do now is we have 4 cows ready to calve, literally ready to calve. One of them has the first water bag already gone. I can see that from here. If you can see her over there, that's a bit of the old bag hanging on the back of her. So what we're going to do to make life easy for ourselves is this pen here, for starters. These are all the cows that have to calve yet. So what, there's 17 cows there to calve yet. But this barrier here that divides them, that originally was dividing the heifers from the cows. It's not actually doing anything now, because the heifers, there's only 2 heifers left to calve. All the rest of the heifers have calved now. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that barrier down, we're going to move it up simply 1 notch, and we're going to leave just 1 pen for the cows that are nearest to calving. So the 4 cows that are specifically going to calve, specifically, am I right? Specifically, that's the one. Tom Pemberton knows that word well. We're going to move it up, and we're going to block them off up here, because when our cows go to calve, we open that door and they run for it. They run right around the back and into the calving pen here. They're just well used to it, they know it well by now. Just wait for these cows to move their way across. Alright. Now with the easy part done, we have to put a chain on that gate to keep it open, but the next thing is to get these cows into this pen without creating any fuss, because slats can be very slippy, so you have to take it very, very easy. These cows are very, very heavy in calf, so we'll have to get nice and handy to get these animals where we want them. Close it again. Close it again there. Lovely, lovely. Right now, what do you want? 1 more. When I just move her back. Very good. That's that job done. You have to be really careful when you're sorting through cattle, just so they don't fall. I suppose rubber slats would be much easier to work with, but when you've slats like this, it gets so slippy and cows get sighted very, very quickly, so you just have to really tread carefully. But that's them in. That girl there is ready to calve, and this girl here is going to calve today as well. And there's another one there on the other side, and she's going to calve today because her bones is gone, her elders filled up. So these 3 will be calved in the next 24 hours easily. The heifer, I don't think will calve. That's the heifer there. I don't think she's going to calve for another 2-3 days. And then we have another 2 there that'll be going in just straight after these 3 calves. So it's a little bit easier for me, so I don't have to call the kids when I want to put them in the calving pen. They're there now. So if I open that door, that white cow's going to run for the door and she's going to go into that calving pen. And I'm going to do that now very shortly, because I think she's on the verge of calving. Yeah, She knows where she's going. She'll do her business in there, we'll leave her be. I don't see the other two calving just right away. Probably late on the night, that's what I'm thinking just by looking at them. But we'll see, we'll keep you updated what's happening there. Anyway, back to it now. The next job we have to do is address one of our doors. I've let the cows out of the shed for now. Myself and Nicole, she's there somewhere. How are you? We're going to take this door off because this door has dropped a lot this last while. So when you bring it across to latch it, it doesn't latch. You put your toe underneath it, press it up just to get the latch in. So that's a bit of a pain in the backside when you're doing jobs, and especially when the girls are helping me, they're not fit to close that door at all. So we're going to address that. Take away some of this lovely stuff here. I'm not going to take the door off anymore because it doesn't need to. It's got a good grip up there, and I'm not going to try to force it out because it's a ton weight and I don't need to. Proper with the bars, it doesn't swing back and forth. And I'm going to address this bottom here now. You can see the way it's completely rotted out, and that's all that happens. It's worn down as well, so all I'll do is cut this off and I'll put a plate on top of it. Just before we start this job, if you're sensitive to bright lights, flashing lights, there's going to be a bit of welding and a bit of grinding done here in the next couple of minutes. So you might want to skip that little part if you are sensitive to that. Just want to give you that little bit of a warning. So here we go. Let's get this welded into place. So we've got a little bit of a plate here. We're going to stick on top of that. We're just going to weld that on, and that'll work nice and easy there. Got a little bit of galvanized tubing that's going to sit on top of that, and that's going to be our new eye. So the first thing we'll do is weld that into place. Now we're going to put this, as I call the little eye, up into the door, and then get the door and the eye up onto that there and weld the whole lot in place. That's our eye in there now. When I say eye, you know what I mean. The little circle of eye is in its place, but it's not welded to this. And all I have to do now is I'm just checking the handle now. And you see the way it closes in and out nice and easy? That means our door's in the right place. It's sitting now purely on its own weight, so all I'm going to do now is I'm going to weld that, and that'll be our job done. Close the door there now and see what it's like. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's much better. That ain't gonna go nowhere. Hopefully. There was a day when I had long hair, I could do that. Right, so my misadventure yesterday with the tractor ended up busting one of my pipes, and it's my own fault completely because I knew it was there and I should have moved it ages ago. The reason why I have this stopper pulled out here at the minute is that I was going to put a drinker in here late last summer, and I didn't get round to doing that, and that's why I had the stopper all pulled out of the hedge and just didn't get round to connecting it, and then I forgot all about it. Then I drove across the pipe. So when I turn on the water now, there's a lovely stream of water coming out of here. yeah, lovely. So have to fix that. The good thing is I don't have to go far to turn the water off. I bought this wrench here back a few weeks ago, and Dargan, I think it's the model of it. Any of you know that model? Oh, scrap. That's all it is. It's the worst thing I ever came across. You have to push the button in, you move this up, but the problem is then the button is stuck. See the button? It's jammed because you push it in and it sticks on itself and it doesn't loosen again. Not a great lover of that. Whoever came up with that design, oh, to hell with it. There we go. Luckily we have plenty of pipe here, so we're not short on pipe. It's actually too long as it is. No, and I didn't make that up. It is too long. Now a lot of you might ask, Adrian, is that 1/2 inch light gauge you're using? Yeah, I know. I'm way behind the times. I know that. It is, of course, and it's my father's fault because he put 1/2 inch light gauge throughout the whole farm. But 90% of it is gone now. I have it all replaced. On this little patch here, I'm putting in a drinker here in about 2 months' time, hopefully, when we can get back out into the fields. I'm going to put a drinker in there. I'm going to remove all this stuff here completely, and that way we'll be able to replace it all with new 3/4 inch. We don't know. We'll see what way we go. But 1/2 inch around here works all right because we've got really good water pressure here, like so. 1/2 inch has been grand. Now we are putting new water mains connection into our other farm that was away. You might have remembered me talking if you're following the channel, because I did say a few times that we have very bad water pressure over there because our water has to go an awful long way from the actual public meter to get to our land in the first place. By the time it gets there, then it's very, very weak. So what we're going to do there is we're going to upgrade that whole water pipe with 3/4 inch or even inch, and we'll run that right up through our fields, right up to the new shed, and supply all the drinkers with it, because that will make a big improvement over there. One day I probably will upgrade our water system and maybe start putting in 3/4 inch instead of this 1/2 inch stuff, but for now, hey, it's grand. Suppose the next thing you want to see is me turn it on so you can slate me. Let's see now. That's it on now anyway. Yeah, that's sorted. I always carry a wee toolbox that has all my water fittings in it, so if I'm out working in the field somewhere, I don't have to go searching in the house for stuff. Just throw this toolbox in the back of the quad and I have every water fitting in there that you could ever imagine, but probably the one you want won't be in it. So watching us putting on our door yesterday, I mentioned we had 3 cows ready to calve, which we had. And the 3 cows ended up calving, that's about late, but the 3 cows ended up calving within 20 minutes of other. Yeah, we had the cow calve for days before that, and then in 20 minutes we had 3 cows calve. That's always the way. It started good with a heifer, but then we ended up with 2 bulls. So we had a heifer and 2 bulls. So yeah, would have liked 3 heifers. I would have really loved seeing 3 heifers. But look at, all was okay, all was done in the daylight. Didn't have to sit up last night. But that'll not be for long, because this heifer in here now, that's one of the cows that calved yesterday. But that heifer there, she's sick of the calving at the moment. So she's our second last heifer to calve. We have 1 more to calve in there yet. So she'll be calved now in the next 3-4 hours. Heifers can take a little bit longer. It may even be tonight before she calves. But she's already showing all the symptoms. The tail's up, the bones are down, so that's going to be hopefully a good result there too. Now a lot of people did mention to me when I talked about the fact that we've had a lot of bulls this year. It's just been the luck of the draw basically, but a lot of people did mention we ever use sex semen. Now sex semen, those of you who don't understand what that means, is basically it gives you a higher percentage of having a heifer. That's exactly the way it's working. It is quite a bit more expensive, and we did do it before years ago and had mixed results from it. That's quite a long time ago, and the science behind it and technology has come on a lot since that. So I'm hearing now that the percentage is a lot higher. So this year we'll probably use a good few sex semens, because we want heifers. We don't want too many bulls. Although a bull sell easily and we get a good price for them, we still want to have a nice array of heifers. So that's probably what we will do the year. And another thing that is coming back is we are introducing a bull back with our herd this year. It's going to be an Aberdeen Angus bull probably, and it's just going to be a bull that'll come in at the end when we have a lot of cows eyed and clean up. You want to see the calves that we had last night. Well, this little Angus here is about a week old, so that's out of a heifer. So that one there, a nice wee thriving heifer, would literally drink the ass out of a bucket, as I always said before. But these are our 3 wee ones here from last night, and that's what we like to see. As ugly as it may seem, we like to see a good old pile of black stuff in each of the cages after a few hours. That means they have got rid of all the old stuff, and the beastins or colostrum has done its job. That's our heifer. That's a bull, that's a brute. You can see the size of him. And there's another well-marked, good-sized bull as well. Would have been lovely if you had it heifers. Look, of course it would have. Especially this time of year now. You want them as early as you can. But look, we have another 7 cows, 8 cows I think, eyed with Friesian. So we have another good chance of getting a few more heifers, and hopefully we will. They'll just be a little bit later as all. Just before I wrap it up today, there's a lot coming up on our channel in the next very, very short time. In the next 2 weeks, in fact. There's going to be a lot of stuff to film, because our tractor, for starters, if you remember when we bought our tractor, that's the 54 of course, we said we had also got a set of wheels for it. So when we bought our tractor, we had a set of wheels already got for our tractor and paid for and all squared out. But we're waiting on our rims to come. Our rims is what's holding us back, and we got word that our rims is going to be here in about a week, 2 weeks time. But now that our rims are on the way, we can get the tyres on them and eventually get the guys out and get our wheels fitted to our tractor. It's going to make a hell of a difference to that tractor. I know a lot of you used to be watching it and be saying, hey Majin, when are you going to do something with them godforsaken wheels? Well, if I told you they were growing on me, you know, they're not wee small wheels. Yeah, we're just winding you up, don't worry. But the next thing that's also coming up is we're going to make a big improvement to our tanker. And I think you all know what it's going to be, but we're not going to talk about that yet. But that is happening tomorrow. I'm actually away tomorrow to get that done, and we'll have it back hopefully then tomorrow evening, and that'll be it all done. Tomorrow is Saturday. So that's another thing that's coming up. And then another thing that's coming up is this little buck here. I've been working away on it in the background for the past week or more in the evenings, just trying to get it all tricked up. And the next video you're going to see on the little Ferguson will be, will it start? And that's coming up very soon as well. So we've lots of little stuff happening between all the calvings, and between the thought of having to buy some fertilizer, and maybe in fact getting back out into our fields, because our fields are absolutely drenched. Our fields are soaking at the moment. You wouldn't put an animal near them, you wouldn't even walk into them, they're that wet. We've had a month's worth of rain in the last week, so snow and all. Snow of course soaks the ground, so that's unfortunate. We'd like to see the ground starting to dry up again, because we're heading to that time of year, and I am so looking forward to seeing cows outside and getting out into the fields. I think a lot of people would agree it's lovely to get out into the fields and actually start doing something outside, just to get out of the yard. I'm going to leave it there for now. Thanks very much for watching as always. If you haven't subbed, now is the time to do it. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook and on TikTok. And until the next one, we'll talk to you again. Daylight calving you, that's all we want, daylight calving.